in America or in everywhere in the world now, people always drink pop soda. They drink Coke, Pepsi, Sprite all the time. I feel like why we need to drink this thing? Because it's quite expensive. You pay money for it, and then it's not much nutrition in here. Mainly, there's a lot of things that our body don't need it. Every time when we drink this, we create one trash, and we pay money for this trash, and we pay money for the ingredient that our body don't need it. I worry that my kid's gonna drink this a lot. So now I think about kombucha. Kombucha is one thing that I have been culture for a long time in my life. I drink it when I was 15 years old. I started to do it. Until now, I'm 55 now. I feel like it's very good drink. I think kombucha can replace this kind of drink easily because the taste is a lot better. And then you can feel like it's some carbonate in there, like a tinkle.
How to start the kombucha? It's quite easy. The first thing is looking for someone who culture kombucha in the area. If we know somebody, we ask for the SCOBY from them. Maybe cut very tiny piece like this big, this enough. Or if they don't want to give that, you just get the kombucha drink from them or from the shop. Just normal drink, kombucha drink, that's enough. This is good enough. And then we make tea. Tea is like, normally the recipe that I use is 1 to 10. 1 is 1 part of sugar, 10 is 10 part of water. And you can add tea as much as you want, or any kind of tea is fine. Brew the tea and then add sugar in there, let it cool down. And then add if we have the SCOBY, just drop the SCOBY in there and put the lid on. Put the lid on and leave it like that. Or if we don't have SCOBY, we just have to use the juice. 1 or 2 tablespoons, that's enough. And then put the lid on. Leave it like that for maybe when it's hot, 2 or 3 days, you start to see the SCOBY form itself on top of the water of the tea inside. And then 5 or 10 days later, you can use the SCOBY to start a big kombucha after that. That's quite simple and easy. In case if you live in the area with nobody make kombucha, the way you can start to make SCOBY is a little bit take long time. You need to collecting sour fruit. Can be in cold climate, you can use apples, especially green apples or peaches or any fruit that's sour. Ferment them. Ferment the fruit. The recipe is 1, 3, 10. 1 is 1 part of sugar or anything sweet. 3 is fruit, sour fruit. 10 is water. 1 part of sugar, 3 part of fruit, 10 part of water. Cut fruit and put everything in the bucket and put the lid on. Let it ferment like that at least 3 months. Sometimes it can be 6 months, sometimes it can be 1 year. But many times, 3 months, you start to have the big SCOBY, thick SCOBY on top of that bucket. That's the way we start SCOBY from fruit, from anything that we have. It's quite easy.
This is the jar that we start 2 weeks ago. We add the juice leftover in the jar of tea. So after 2 weeks, it creates a mother of SCOBY. It's like a jelly, a piece of jelly is in there. So you can see that. So this is a mother of SCOBY that we start from leftover kombucha. You can see, and we can taste it. That's very good. The taste will be a little bit sweet, a little bit sour. Make the sweet and sour balance. It's the taste that I like. But many people love it when it's very sour. But I don't like that much. After we getting the mother like this, we just take the mother out and take the juice to drink. Take the mother to the big jar. So the big jar is good to have the faucet like this. It's easy to take the juice out.
When we have a SCOBY, we need to start a big batch after that. This is the recipe that I like. I need to have ginger, tea, and sugar. That's the main thing. I have all ingredients. I put 10 part of water in the pot and put on the stove. And then I start to smash ginger. Ginger is good to smash it a lot, make it soft. So when we boil it, the flavor will come out easier. And sometimes I can use different kind of herbs too. Whatever herbs do I have, I can use all of them. Sometimes I use bell fruit, sometimes I use butterfly pea. There's so many things you can do with it. We boil ginger for a while. After it's boiling, let it boil maybe 5 or 10 minutes because it takes a while for ginger to release the flavors. And after that, we can turn off the gas. Let it cool down a little bit, and then we can add tea in there because tea doesn't need very hot water in there. We can add any amount of tea that we want to. If you want it's very dark color, just add more tea. It's okay too. When the flavors of tea came out enough, you can see the color of tea is dark as you want. That is good enough. Now it's time to strain the tea bag and ginger out of the liquid. We don't need this thing anymore. There are many ways to strain it, but this is what I have, so I use what I have mainly. And then it seems like quite a lot of tea in here, and then it's quite hot too, so I need to take it out first. It seems like the pot, the basin is quite too small to stir in there, so I move it back to the pot. It's bigger. It'll be easier to stir it. And then after that, we just add sugar in there. I always add sugar after I strain the tea, because sometimes if you add a lot of tea in there and add sugar in there, the tea or tea bags maybe absorb more sugar. It maybe take out of sugar from the pot. So to add sugar at the end is easy way for me. It's good to taste it, so next time you know which taste is the best. After that, if I want it to cool down very quick, I will put cold water in a basin and then put a teapot in the basin, because heat always run to the cold. So cold water will help to take the heat out of the tea. When the water in the basin hot, I always spray cold water to push the hot water out. Bring cold water to replace hot water in the basin. That's the way the cold water, take out the heat from the teapot. Another way, if we don't hurry, after we strain the tea, we just put the lid on and let it cool down by itself. In this way, it's easy too. While I'm waiting for the tea to cool down, so I will empty the kombucha jar by fill up the bottle, and then it's good to close the lid very tight and then leave it outside in the room temperature for a few days before we put in the refrigerator to make it carbonate. This is the empty jar that I drained it out already. So now the tea is cool enough, so I just pour the first jar. I took the SCOBY out to clean because a lot of dust from the tea from last time. This jar, I did not clean it because it quite look clean for me. So I just pour the tea in there directly. So when we put the tea in there, sometimes the SCOBY will float. Sometimes it sink. It doesn't matter. It's not a problem. Just leave it like that. They can grow again. And after that, we can put the lid on. When we put the lid on, don't close it airtight normally. We just put it loose. Sometimes we put the lid on just to prevent bugs to get in there. Or many people love to use cheesecloth to cover it. It's up to you what you like. It's okay too. That's finished, so we can leave it like this. I love to do different kind of tea. I don't use black tea sometimes. Like this, I use roses tea. That's very good too. It's good to experiment with very many different kind of tea, and then we can taste the different taste. And it's good to put different amount of sugar to see which taste you like it most. After the rose tea cool down, I need to add a tiny SCOBY in there. I love to do a tiny jar like this to experiment different kind of tea because it's so much fun to test different things often. Sometimes you discover something incredible good. After we put the SCOBY in, it's better to test every day after 2 or 3 days, because if the SCOBY is thick or if the temperature is hot, it can make the taste sour very quick. So taste often is good. It's still good. The first time when I experienced kombucha is when I was a kid. I was a novice in the Buddhist temple. It's about 1974. At that time, many monks in the temple, they culture kombucha and then they drink it every evening because they believe that kombucha gonna make their immune system better. And then at that time, there's not many drink, there's not many pop soda at all. So kombucha is the cheapest and easiest and the best for people at that time. But now, people start to drink more pop soda. But in the same time, kombucha come back. But it's so expensive. I think we can make it cheap. We can make it easy. Just a few dollars, you can make more than 10 liters of kombucha. I think it's the best drink that you can make it without create more trash. You just use old bottle like this. I think it's time to start new drink. Bring the old drink back again.